Leave me alone. I'll just go about my business.
All right, man. Shakur. We gonna be cooking today. So apparently, I got some news from a homie. I'm gonna keep him anonymous. Said that he had somebody who heard from Matchroom that Floyd Mayweather is, signing, possibly signing with Zuffa. I doubled back, reached out to my one of my homies. He reached out to somebody in the Mayweather clan or affiliated with Mayweather, and uh they said, I'm gonna tell you exactly what they said, and then we kind of talk about this. Shock did an interview with Sean Tizell. Shout out to that brother, man. Um, on Shakur, I say that for the end, and then also look like Devin Haney and Jay Prince possibly is going to um, clash, and Jay Prince did an interview. So first half of the show for the hoes, we gonna do this. I know a lot of the Boots fans, they were mad, and CJ, man, and on Facebook, man, I've been rage baiting them, man, and just fucking with y'all, bro. I didn't appreciate, him training with Canelo to help a brother out, but then again, it is what it is. This shit is good. Uh, uh, India, like India Ari said, and they got mad at India Ari, and she said that I stopped caring a long time ago. And she said I stopped caring about, fighting, the good fight against that hood rat shit. She said she stopped caring a long time ago, because she found out that other people don't care. And when you address something, and you address something, if any, especially within the granocracy of the black community, when you address something, they always want to point out, they want to point at somebody else. And that's one thing I never really respected. If you want to call it a black community, I never respected it, because anytime you point something out, well, he did this and he did this, always to attack the messenger or bring something else up. That's just what it about. Hey, slow down. Miles, come here. Sorry, he's drinking too. Come lay down for a minute. You're drinking your water too fast. Come lay down for a minute. Sit. Appreciate it. That's one thing I don't know. We can't attack the subject at hand. We gotta. Well, he said this and she did this. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the way it is, and that's why there's no progression when we talk about that. But in general, so apparently, the good word on the street that I heard, and shout out to the people who fact checked it, who gave me the information, and the person who fact checked it. I'll keep everybody anonymous. And basically, I asked him, and I'm like, "Hey, man." He said, "I'm about to ask." Whoop whoop. Nah. Whoop whoop said Floyd was holding out for more money. Blank said he don't know if Floyd signed yet, so they're in negotiations now. I think somebody in the MMA community, I could be wrong on this, but I don't know if they originally broke the news. But I seen earlier this week, you see stuff on the internet all the time. But I seen something this week that said that Dana White was going to help Floyd Mayweather out. It wasn't this exact post, but I seen a post earlier this week, and I just was like, maybe it's just fan mail or something like that, or a fan made it up, or I really didn't pay no attention to it, right? And they got a clip in there. Hold on, there's a clip in there. So hold on, there's a clip in there. So I didn't notice that when I first saved it. There's a clip in there. So I don't know what the clip says.
Are on the unfortunate news that we're seeing so many headlines with Floyd Mayweather Jr. losing like $170 million. Just your opinion on that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one, and I've talked to him about it, but I don't know enough about it. Hear all these different stories. I think you have to wait to see how this thing's going to play out in court for him. But when somebody works as hard as he did, and amasses the type of wealth that he had, and then they lose it or it gets stolen or whatever the deal is, it's horrible, and it happens a lot in professional sports. Who knows? Anything is possible. Maybe we could do something and figure it out for him.
So I guess that's pretty much where the rumor came from. that Dana said this probably was at the last Zuffa event. And then, kind of, is it that he want to help Floyd because that's his friend, or is it an opportunity to boost the profile of Zuffa? Now, if I'm Floyd Mayweather, if I'm a fight for Zuffa, I want to get some ownership in something. Endeavor, I want to get some ownership in, Zuffa, Endeavor, or something. I want to get ownership before I jump out the window, honestly. So it's beneficial for Zuffa. People tend to help you, because a lot of times it's something in it for them. And obviously it's a lot in it to help Floyd Mayweather out. The question is, okay, apparently CSI, the group that's suing him and stopping him from fighting, pretty sure they're cool with Endeavor, and they're probably going to make them problems go away. Excuse me. They're going to probably make them problems go away for him. So it shouldn't be any shock. It's just, it's a favor for a favor. It's like when you go into the court system, you're already down. If you ain't got no money or your lawyer ain't connected, you already lost. I hate to break it to you, you already lost. That's just what it is. So this is why, is it easier to help somebody out who was nice? Yeah, it's easier to help somebody else that was nice and wasn't an asshole. Very easy. But regardless if he was an asshole or not, guess what? You want to work with him because you can get that money. Zuffa needed. Now whether the money was stolen, and it's always somebody pinching something off the tie. I used to talk to this girl when I was in college, and her mom used to buy weed in bulk. She used to pinch off her mom weed. Her mom she probably knew, but she never really knew. She used to buy, multiple O's, and she used to pinch off the O's and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got that much money, you got the mismanagement. I was talking to one of my homies from Philly. He was like, yeah, how you fuck up that money? And I'm just like, bro, just think about when we first, got our first jobs, wherever it was, and we got that money. We went to go blow it on some shoes. Went to go blow it on some clothes. So if somebody don't never show you, percentages and what come out of taxes, how to manage, if nobody ever show you that, and then they drop a lump sum of money on you, come on. Nobody pull you to the side and say, you need a business manager, you need an accountant, you need a lawyer, and none of them should know each other. Nobody pull you don't know. As you meet people, as people pull you to the side, the OGs like Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hurts, you pull them to the side. But the thing about it, you just never think that you'll run out of money. That's the wild thing about it. You'll never think you'll run out of money. A lot of these guys spend. When in reality, a lot of the stuff that you spent on, what's the point of what you don't even have it no more? All them shoes, clothes, jewelry. But if nobody show how to, do it, then people gonna take advantage of you. So that's unfortunate. That's just what it is. People gonna take advantage of you. But of course, Hardy was true. Hardy was trying to get more money. If he's smart, he try to get ownership. You try to get some ownership. That's more important than the money. But when you panicking for the bread, when you panicking for money, when you panicking for money, when you panicking for money, I've been there before. Sold the PlayStation 3. Sold. I bought the shoes for $200. Sold them for $185. You liquidating. You got all this jewelry. You overpaid for it. It depreciated. You paid $100 million for it. You sold it for $30. You make bad decisions, bro. Your bad decisions lead you to make more bad decisions. And then he wasn't one of those guys that was sponsorship friendly neither. What saved Allen Iverson ass? Somebody on his homeboys hashed out a contract, lifetime contract with Reebok. And then he kept the relationship with Reebok where now him and Shaq working at Reebok to revive the brand. So you got to remember all this is relationships. This is why I'm a firm believer and if I got to burn the bridge, it just had to be done. But I'm a firm believer in not burning bridges. It's sometimes the person to burn the bridge to you. And you know, like I said, it's just discernment. If they do something to burn the bridge and you forgive them, 9 times out of 10, you know what I'm saying? It's, you know, you should have burnt the bridge because they're gonna hurt you in the end. Most people that get murdered, most people that get robbed or get crimes done to them is people that that you know. People gonna try you that you know because they know there's gonna be some sympathy or you don't see it coming for them. You gotta remember that. But in general, it makes sense. It make a lot of sense for Zuffa to do this deal. You know, maybe they cut CSI in on the Pacquiao deal. It makes sense. So it doesn't shock me none. Don't know how the deal gonna be structured. You know, Joe Louis fought, you know, and he was old. You know, that's why I think Rocky Marciano beat Joe Louis when he old. I mean, I ain't here to kick nobody down, man. I've had the ups and downs, but believe it or not, and I said this some years ago. And believe me or not believe me, a lot of y'all in better financial situations than a lot of these people that you see on TV or see in these boxing rings and on these hoop courts and these football. A lot of y'all in better situations than them. Everybody look at the money as the end all be all. A lot of y'all, you know, something happened today to some of y'all family or something happened to you. You know, y'all got arrangements made. You got life insurance, whole life insurance, your whole funeral plot. A lot of people got plots, funeral arrangements already done. You got insurance on the kids or your parents. So if something happened, you good. A lot of these dudes drop tomorrow, and I'm not wishing that on nobody. A lot of these drop tomorrow. They don't know how they're gonna pay for their funeral. They made all this money. I was looking at Benzino. He got arrested yesterday or something like that. I think it was him. Allegedly got arrested for not having a driver's license. A lot of these dudes don't have a driver's license. They don't pay insurance on their cars. You know, they just think, hey, I'll just pay it. A lot of these guys' situations, you know, believe it or not, y'all in better situations. Y'all got health insurance. Some of these fighters ain't got health insurance. Some of y'all, you know, still got pensions. Some of y'all still got, you know, if you retire from your company, you still got lifetime benefits. Guess what? Boxers don't. Pro football players don't. You know what I'm saying? When everybody just talk about the money, you know, it'd be nice to have money. Some of y'all got credit. Some of these athletes don't have no credit. Some of y'all know how to budget. Y'all got investments. Y'all got annuities. Y'all invest, y'all day trade, y'all invest into the, you know, in the index funds. Y'all got money saved. You know, some of these fighters don't have nothing. It comes and it goes. They got baby mamas here, there, that, and that shit be gone. So you gotta, and I said this, I've been saying this for years. A lot of regular people that's in this chat or just in general, their lives are in better order than these people. I'm telling you. A lot of niggas on the TV screen, rich and broke. That's why the Migos came up with that song. I'd rather be rich than famous. It's a lot of famous broke motherfuckers. You know, think about it for a minute. You think, you know, one of the reasons that Rihanna got saved is because of the Savage Fendi. It's the Savage Fendi. That probably saved her whole ass. And also, you know, you hope that Jay-Z knew her since she was 15, 16, structured a deal for her the right way. But you can have people that look out for you and give you advice, but are you going to take it? When you're young, you just think you can do anything. You got to think about it. If you play in a sport, like you in a sport like one punch can change everything. You can have 100 million built up. One punch can change everything. And you wake up or something happened. How many people that hit licks on your money, your fight purses? Somebody got power of attorney, ran off of that. Most guys get robbed of their money. Most guys get robbed of their money. Most athletes get robbed. Then you got to talk about the lifestyle that they live. I got a bitch here, a bitch here, a bitch here. You got children on top of children. So not only do you got children that you paying child support to, baby mamas to, you keeping 2 or 3 chicks, 4 chicks around, you got them around, he got security around, he got all these cars, you got to pay insurance on them, registration on them, even if they paid off for it. Come on now. The kids need something. They mama need to be good. You got a court case here. Motherfucker sued you for this here and that there. You got paternity fraud over here. You know what I'm saying? Paternity case over here. You know, come on, kid going to college, all types of shit. Somebody say you swung on them. Now you got it. I mean, come on. That's why you always got to live below your means. Ain't nothing wrong with it, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You see Dana with a bunch of jewelry on? Nah. No, once you get that Ferrari or two or get that big house, you like, for what? I got one kid in a big ass mansion. For what? You know? And then you want to downsize and sell that mansion. Let's just say you paid 2.5 for the mansion just to be on the modest side somewhere in fucking Idaho. You sell it, you need to really sell it. You only gonna probably get $1 million for it. So you took a $1.5 million loss. You know, people look at homes as things that appreciate. They depreciate too. You can upgrade the home from 2.5 to 3.5 and it still sell for $1 million because nobody want to fucking buy it. Can't rent a rent. You can rent a mansion out. You can Airbnb it, but you know. So it's all about, you know, true smart investments and people that you can trust. And you know, you want to say, Wall Street Trapper say this all the time. You know, the real gangsters is on Wall Street. He said, I never knew what that meant until he went to the pen and met a Wall Street gangster. Guys going to jail for money laundering coming out 5 years later. They coming out 2 to 5 years later. They still got the $1 million. And guess what? When you in that world, ain't no Pooh Shiesty. Ain't no Pooh Shiesty in that world. Ain't nobody really gonna, have a street sweeper run down on you. If you get got, you got. Real talk. If you get got in that world, you let somebody bend you over and run your jewels. It ain't no I'm gonna grab the yappa and I'm a who. It ain't none of that shit. Believe your boy. Believe that. They don't play that game there. These real gangsters. And this is why a lot of, gangsters, for a lot of people from the street translate so well to the business world. As long as you can leave the violence, and most guys that's successful in the streets, they can leave the violence unless you Suge Knight. They can leave the violence. You're going to be successful. You got some guys like Suge Knight, allegedly James Prince, and guys that move like that. Most definitely. You definitely got guys that move like that. But in general, for Floyd, not having that resource of not having that resource of not having that resource of how can I say it, of sponsorships, it hurt. Not downsizing, it hurt. But give me 1 second. That shit hurt. Give me 1 second.
Given a tweet right after the fight, any response to Terrence Crawford, who had something to say?
We ain't worried about what you got to say.
All right, my bad. So, but yeah, I mean, it's very unfortunate. A lot of people probably want to kick the brother while I ain't in that business, kicking no brother while they down. I'm just ain't in that business. But I told my homie, I said, what do you truly expect from somebody who had nothing to get millions of dollars? What do y'all really expect? You go from nothing to millions. What do we really expect? How do you budget that? We get our first job at Target or something, and we get a $200-300 check back in the day. Shit, that shit gone. That shit gone before we know it. So if you drop all this money on somebody and they don't know how to manage it, and they don't even know how to manage a $500 check from Kroger's. What's so funny? I used to go to a barber shop, and there used to be this dude in the NFL, Allen Robinson. He used to be a receiver. He from Detroit, if y'all didn't know. He used to be a receiver. He was a receiver. He retired from the Lions a couple years ago. His dad used to come to the barbershop I went to. And one of the guys that cut there, I think he coached his son in Little League, so they still, came up there and showed love. His dad had money. I think his dad was neighbors with Dan Gilbert, who owned the Cleveland Cavaliers, and his son still got money. He showed his son how to manage money. Asians do it all the time. If you look hard enough, a lot of the Asians, they offer stock and investment and day trading courses. That's huge amongst the Asian community. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't learn it, or you don't have the wherewithal to learn it and obtain it, it's a different ball game. It is, like I said about the Wall Street Trapper. He ended up being a celly with a white collar guy, and he was able to humble himself and listen to what the guy had to say, and it changed his life. He told him, you playing the wrong. It changed his life. So you have to be able to be open, listen, and comprehend. And for Floyd, he just, he did what any other kid to do. You think it'll never end. $100 million check here. When shit started going left, you start to, penny pinch. Now you start to see, oh, okay, this person a card and he been stealing. When you ball, you don't give a fuck until it matter. And you only a ball for so long. You only ball for so long. Your boy will tell you that. You only ball for so. At some point, that balloon come down. What goes up, come down. So in general, who do they fight? They probably gonna do the Pacquiao fight. They might do the Mike Tyson fight. I told you that fight. Where they might still do these fights with Zuffa and CSI partnered. They might pay CSI out, buy him out, and do it. But he's suing allegedly. Well, he is suing Showtime for running off with the bag, but also allegedly he ran off with these people bag. But apparently Showtime might have did it a little bit more slicker than he did. But it is what it is. I'm not surprised. This is a great promo for Zuffa. One honor, salute. Black Jericho, salute. Last one alive, salute. Al Heyman hit the race on their ass. Al's sister made that deal. I think I ran into Allen Iverson 2 days in a row down here in Charlotte. Yeah, Charlotte's dope, bro. I love going to Charlotte. So, I remember I used to go down there in the 90s. They ain't had shit. Charlotte is a good place to be right now. Most of the infrastructure is new. I remember last time I was down there, my cousin, he lived in Matthews. He was telling me that, they was starting to clean out the hippies was starting to move in the, I forget, I think it was the east side or the west side of Charlotte. He was saying the hippies were starting, they was completing gentrification. So he was telling me that how they gentrified it and shit. I think I was on the east side where a lot of the Mexicans and shit be there. But yeah, shit, yeah, Charlotte's dope. Food is good, restaurants is good, hospitality is probably a little bit racist. So, but it is what it is. So that's pretty much, I'm probably the first person to talk about this Floyd shit. But Dana been rubbing it in our face right here and there. So Dana been rubbing in our face. So the same Mayweather, I think this is real. But they probably talking about some of the pictures that's in there. So this is a great comment right here. I'm glad I clicked on it. He means by signing him to fight, Dana ain't gonna help Floyd out with the kindness of his heart. He's gonna make a killing on Mayweather, Conor McGregor too, or whatever. Yeah, could be true. I heard they had a lot of money offered to Terrence Crawford. I heard Crawford said it wasn't real. Somebody from Crawford's team kind of relayed us and told us it was. So I don't know. Yeah, people don't help you out the kindness of their heart for real. Not too often you see that. Especially no white man to no brother. Both days denied a photo, and I was a teen at the time. Damn. Yeah, it is what it is. You know, they got lives too. I remember, Eminem had that about I am what I say I am. In that video, you talking about people, talking about dealing with fame. They human too. They tired of that shit. No offense. They human too. They finna try to take Floyd down through there. You know what? Kobe said he gonna get knocked out. And honestly, that might line up. That might line up, bro. Maybe they might make Devin versus Floyd. That might line up. Maybe Earl and Floyd to make sense, but Al ain't letting that happen. Or PBC, whatever AI, Al ain't letting that happen. A lot of these dudes get fast money early, but don't plan for the future. No. I might be off talk. I put Andre Ward could look top 10. I mean, that's your opinion. Good fighter. Great fighter. Right, salute. It ain't easy being a man. Take the good with the good and the bad with the bad and be smart. Yeah. Yeah, and anticipate for the worst. Been here 10 years, shit becoming a conglomerate. Yeah. Yeah, shit was totally different. If Floyd could fall off, I worry for Tank. Oh, man, hell yeah. Man, anybody can fall off. He ain't the first fighter to fall off. Let's be honest. Floyd is his own worst enemy, just like the rest of us. I mean, yeah, you are. I mean, yeah. We are our own worst enemies. As men, when we make mistakes, we as real men, we make mistakes. Guess who we look at? We look like, damn, I should have seen that coming. That's a fact. When we make mistakes, we say, damn, we should have seen that coming. When women make mistakes, they blame everybody else, and that's just their nature. You feel what I'm saying? That's just their nature. You can't be mad at somebody's nature. If you know your homie a crook, I hear rappers rapping about that all the time. They homies being shady and being crooks and all that shit. You can't get mad. You can't get mad. You put your hand in the dog mouth and he bites you, even if he playing. You can't get mad at that. You can't get mad when a snake grab that ass. It'll grab your ass. You can't get mad at it. But what also made people not have sympathy for Floyd is because he rubbed that shit in niggas' faces. He rubbed it in people's faces. And actually, when you rub your wealth in people's faces, people don't like that shit. But then again, apparently he did some good. He played for Gianardo Hernandez's, funeral for giving him an opportunity. Pretty sure he looked out. I remember he used to, give food out to people in Vegas. And I'm gonna say this: there's probably a ton of other great things he did for people. You don't really hear about the great things you do. You don't hear about the great things that people do. You don't hear about the great things that people do for other people until they sick or they did. That's messed up that a lot of people, especially men, don't get acknowledged for the great work they did as fathers, the great work that they did in community, the great father, the great coach or how good you were in the neighborhoods to the kids until you did or until you sick. Then everybody, you know what I'm saying? Then everybody like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? You get your credit once you 6 feet deep or damn near. But that's the thing about being a man. That's the thing about it. You don't start hearing about, and this go for women too. You don't start hearing about how great people are until they're in turmoil. You in turmoil. You think, oh man, he was great. He did this, that, and the third for me. And yeah, I remember this time he did this for me. Like, damn, where was that at when I was alive? Yeah. Where was that love at when I was alive? And it's life. That's the battle we in. The good news travel very, very slow. Don't forget it. The good news travel very, very slow and very, very slow. When you do something bad, you got to remember when you dealing with people, When you dealing with people, bro, when you can do 1,000 good things, the one bad thing you do, that's all they remember. And that's the dangerous thing about this world. That's the dangerous thing about this world. You can do all this good shit, and you can do one bad thing, and somebody can hate you for the rest of your life. And it ain't even that bad. But none of the good shit you did that mattered. Yeah, it's a wild time. But let's move on. So apparently Jay Prince did this interview. And I always try to weigh that out, the good and the bad. But it's some things that are unacceptable that you can't you can forgive, but I can't fuck with you no more. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately forgiveness is for you. It's not for that person. You got to let it go. One thing I will say about a Tyler Perry movie, when you watch The Diary of a Mad Black Woman, the end was very indicative of what forgiveness is. She had to forgive Charles to move on. And when she forgave Charles, she was able to let go. So that's a fact. That's a fact. That was one of the most accurate things in his movies. A lot of people look at forgiveness and, they think it's for that person. Nah. Because a lot of these people hate people and they still deal with them. When you finally forgive and let it go, I mean, you're able to forgive, you're able to let it go. But let's move on. So let me get this audio ready. Hold on. I'm coming. If I can find it. You know what? I'm not gonna find it here. Hold on, give me a minute. Don't talk to me. I was listening at the gym. I got protein on my shirt and shit. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. That was BG Hart. That was all hard.
Next in line, WBO, Devin saying Davis, emphasizing Key as in assuming Keyshawn Davis. So how close are we in that? Is it safe to kind of get some money set aside, look for some hotel monies, get ready to go for that big fight?
I mean, I feel like we're in a great position. You know what I mean? That question might have to be asked to the Haney. You know what I mean? I got two double barrel shotguns. You know what I mean? On both ends, and I got them blocked in, so they got to see me one way or the other.
Is it a little, I guess, frustrating because I know there's a lot of narratives out there, and you specifically, Shakur, even I don't feel like you guys were able to speak on some of the things that kind of transpired over what was allegedly Shakur and Devin and things like so. Is there anything that you can help clarify, I guess, that?
I mean, it ain't really much to clarify, you know what I mean? This is a game where, a lot of shit is talked. So, we can expect, a lot of that to be thrown and said, and, it don't really affect us because we understand what we're dealing with. Come that day, time and place, we will be ready.
Either or, Devin has to fight somebody lined up this side or that side, vacate the title or whatever the case, right?
Yeah, I mean, I hope they make the best decision, and I know they will. Devin have a great manager in his father. You know what I mean? Bill is my homie. So whatever decision they make, have to be respected. But I'm looking forward to dealing with all of them in the future.
Awesome.
So he pretty much doing this interview pretty much confirmed what they doing. Now, this might went over your heads. So basically what they trying to do, and I've said this and, this with some knowledge behind the scenes, but I feel like with common sense, I could have seen this coming. They wanted to get the belt out of Devin's hand without fighting Devin. Oh, whatever Devin want to do, I know they going to make the right decision for Devin. I know him and Bill is going to make the right decision. Think about that for a minute. They want him to drop that belt. They want him to drop that belt. I told y'all what they want is Devin to drop the belt. And they want Devin to drop the belt, and they want, Keyshawn and Norman to fight for the belt. But give me 1 second. I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna let this roll for a minute.
given a tweet right after the fight. Any response to Terrence Crawford, who had something to say?
Yeah, we ain't worried about what the guy said. He retired. You know, we focus on tasking and taking over this division. We ain't worried about retired fighters.
Yeah, y'all keep on throwing Terrence up. Terrence, he's retired. Leave Terrence alone. Let him do what he's supposed to do. You know what I mean? Have fun and enjoy his family.
Boot.
Go that. All of them. I don't care who make the statements. You know what I mean? I'm just telling you like it is.
One point that you wouldn't let him fight Conor Benn when you had Conor Benn. He said absolutely not.
Yeah, because I liked Conor Benn at the time.
You allow him to fight Josh Kelly?
Yeah, listen, Josh Kelly's a much better fighter than Conor Benn, with all due respect. Conor Benn's a huge name, he's done a great job. Josh Kelly's a great fighter, very talented, good footwork, and he wants the big fights. Josh wanted to fight Xander Zayas. Josh wanted to fight Fundora. Josh wants to fight Boots. So Josh fights July 25th. Maybe next is Josh Kelly against Boots Ennis for 3 belts.
What was going through your mind in the 3rd round?
I was chilling, cool, calm, collected.
Nothing.
So yeah, my bad. But where was at with it? Yeah, you can see the strategy is to get the belt out of Devin hand. He wasn't like, we want that fight. We gonna whoop Devin ass. I believe in Keyshawn. They don't want to go through with the fight, bro. So from what I understand, Zuffa is not working. I don't know. They're not gonna be allowed to do a purse bid. So if Zuffa was gonna put the money up for this fight, they're gonna have to just outright put the money up, and then we'll see if the WBO strip Devin that way. So maybe Zuffa do come put the money up for the fight. I don't know no inside information on this. Maybe they put the money up for the fight. All right. And they do that, and then they turn around and maybe Key be like, oh no, I don't want to do the Zuffa deal, or maybe they do the Zuffa deal and Zuffa come in and drop some money bags off, and they're like, yeah, we got some bread, and they're like, oh, if y'all do the deal with Zuffa, we stripping you, Devin. And maybe they strip Devin and Key fall out the fight, and maybe don't sign the contract, he fall out the fight, and I don't know. Somehow the objective is not to fight and take the belt from Devin Haney. That's not the objective. The objective is to get the belt out of Devin Haney's hand at all costs. That is the objective. I don't know if y'all know that. That is the objective, is to get the belt out of Devin Haney's hand at all costs. That's what they want to do. He says Zuffa can't bid. One of their associates probably can. It ain't even that Zuffa can't bid. They can get the fight. You don't have to go to purse bid. If they come to an agreement and Zuffa put the fight on, then it's up to the WBO to strip Devin, because they don't want to deal with Zuffa. Now, per their rules, can they strip Devin because they fighting with Zuffa? I don't know. I don't know if they can strip him per their rules for that. They can always find a way to strip somebody, right? So that's the thing about it. I think whatever, you can just listen. Yeah, I got 2 double barrel shotguns. We got them back then, and Devin gonna do what's best. No, I think what's best for the situation is if Devin fights your fighter, right? That's not the objective, bro. They want to try to take that belt away from Devin Haney. I told y'all that. That's their objective. They want to take that belt away from Devin Haney without fighting him. And with the boxing world having this disdain and hatred for Devin Haney, it's going to be easy for people to get behind that. Throw a lie out there, or Devin didn't want to do this, or Devin didn't want to do that, and put this lie out here. It's going to be easy. They don't plan on Key getting in that ring, bro. I said that from the very beginning. I heard Keyshawn behind the scenes is complaining about the money, because if it go to a purse bid, the split is 65-35 or 75-25. Listen to it. Like if that's your manager and it's the biggest fight of your fighter career, and it's the biggest fight of your fighter's career, isn't the objective to say, I hope they take the fight so we can whoop his ass and get this money and get this belt? Not once. Oh, we know Devin gonna do what's best for him. What's best for your fighter is that y'all stand and fight. That's what's best for you. Their fighter is fighting Devin Haney. I told y'all, man, this whole sport is goofy, bro. That interview didn't do him no favors. We got him boxed in. They ain't got him boxed in where Shakur and Devin about to jump, or Shakur and Keyshawn about to jump him, because at the end of the day, you know, Shakur could have fought him. Oh, I don't want to take no fight from my brother and all this type of shit. Hold on, nigga. Wasn't you the same dude that took T.O. fight from him? It's sad. It's sad. They're not hiding their bitch assness. They're not hiding it. His manager came there and gave you and confirmed everything that I'm saying. I've been saying. Confirmed everything I've been saying about this situation. He confirmed it. Did he not? They don't plan on fighting for that strap. I told y'all that from the beginning. They don't 75-25 in. They don't plan on fighting for that strap, bro. He fighting for 75-25 on what Top Rank gonna put up for the fight, which is the bare minimum. So they hoping, hey, this cheap ass purse bid that we gonna do. Hey, don't nobody bid on this shit. You know, we gonna bid this minimum on this purse bid. We know the Haneys like to make millions on top of millions. They didn't want to sign their career over to us and their life over to us. So we gonna make it hard on them. That's what they doing. It's all operation to get Devin to drop the belt because Devin won't sign them. And then I want to say something else. People was in the comment section who didn't listen to the video. I said Roy Jones wasn't a superstar. Roy Jones wasn't a superstar. No, Roy wasn't no superstar. Because Roy wouldn't sign his career over to Top Rank or Don King or something like that. Yeah, Roy wasn't no superstar. Roy was one of the greatest fighters of all time, but Roy didn't do great numbers because Roy had a deal with straight through HBO, so they stopped Roy. And people trying to tell me, yeah, he was pound for pound number one, but he was nowhere near Sugar Ray Leonard as far as revenue, Oscar De La Hoya as far as revenue. He was nowhere on that level. And we all, and anybody that was around, we all knew it. We all know it. Had Roy signed his life over to Bob Arum and one of them, then they would have started feeding their fighters to them. So this ain't no disrespect talking about Roy was the shit. Roy was nigga superhero. Roy was the man. But the thing what happened was Roy wouldn't sign his career over to Top Rank. Or one of the promoters. That's why they cut the nigga microphone off in the radio seat. One of the reasons they did that. That's why HBO talks so bad about Roy Jones. As much as the networks matter, at the end of the day, the promoter still had the commentators in their back pocket. That's why they had so much ill will towards Roy. Had Roy signed his life over to one of those promoters, we would have been probably having a different conversation, but Roy was just that great. But to say he was in that vein, the same as far as revenue vein and all that shit as Mayweather, De La Hoya, Sugar Ray Leonard, shit, Canelo Alvarez, no, he wasn't a superstar in that way. You know, did Roy even have a pay-per-view? I don't think Roy even had a pay-per-view that ever did $1 million outside of what he just did with Mike Tyson at 60 years old. That was his highest grossing pay-per-view, and it wasn't even close. You know? So, you know, but hey, don't listen to me. Shit, when he was fighting in Radio City Music Hall, you know, wasn't no biggest, you know, what? But the point is, they trying to get Devin to drop that belt. You know, that's what it is. Devin, drop the belt. Drop the belt. Drop it. They were like, yeah, I know Devin ain't gonna take this $2 million, this $3 million to fight, and we gonna take the fight. And you gonna take the fight, and we gonna put it in Norfolk, or we gonna put it where we want to put it at. And we gonna put it where we want to put it at. We gonna put it in Bob Aaron backyard. I told y'all. But the fans ain't gonna never take a stand. The fans ain't gonna never take a stand, y'all. They just too many bots, too many dudes be fans of what's right. How many people was fans of what's right? I did a post. I was trolling. I was like, well, Boots and Xander didn't do drug testing. And I wasn't indicting Boots did nothing. I was indicting somebody else in the fight didn't look right. But I'm gonna just be quiet on that. But oh man, you corny, you hoe ass nigga for this. And what's wrong with pointing out that they didn't do drug testing? Because when it come to Devin Haney, it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Nobody ever point that shit. When Canelo don't be testing, we don't know if he don't nobody ever say shit. Well, Devin Haney testing? Terrence Crawford, he wasn't. They don't ever say shit. So they get mad when you point out, even though it was a joke, people was, oh man, that's some whole ass shit. And why didn't he test? Why is it a different expectations for different fighters? Why it ain't the same expectation across the board? That's what I don't understand. It's different expectations for different fighters. Oh, he can be a whole ass nigga. He can duck. Don't matter what he do, he can fight the best. We ain't gonna never support him unless he fight a guy that we don't like more than him. That's the thing about it, bro. I'm ill with this shit because most of these dudes, they roll on emotion. They don't roll on the code, not the boxing code, not the warrior code. They don't have a code. They grifters. A lot of these dudes just grift with their fans. Back in the day, used to see people be fans of Michael Jordan, Barry Sanders, but their team was still the Jacksonville Jaguars. Their team was still the Seattle Supersonics and shit. Now these niggas jumping ship. They jumping ship. They being fans of individual athletes. It's just a different time. We in a very, very different time. It ain't about what's right or what's wrong. It's just, I like him, so he ain't got to do it. And then they don't even look at how it's hurting the sport. He said, must have forgot money-wise. You may be right. I know I'm right. Roy was a superstar everybody knew. Yeah, he was, but he wasn't what Floyd was. He wasn't what Canelo was. You can't change the definition of a superstar. He was commercially, but he wasn't what those. He wasn't what those was. People did. He was on a Wayans Brothers show. He was rapping. Roy was the shit, but he wasn't on that level. Hate to break it to you, he wasn't on that level. He wasn't on that level. Great fighter for sure, and that's only because he didn't need the promoter. They wouldn't promote his fights the right way. Or really feed him the killers, but definitely Roy was the shit. But when you start talking about revenue and all that shit, he wasn't on that level. We can change the definition. Oh, superstar didn't like cool, but he wasn't. It wasn't his fault. They was hating. You know what I'm saying? Like, same thing I was trying to say. Same thing they doing with Devin Haney. You don't want to sign your life over here, so we gonna hurt you in different ways. So, and that's what it is. I told y'all, man, these managers and promoters, they play the game. They don't care about what's beneficial, even though it was 15 to 20 mil on the floor for Jay Prince and Shakur Stevenson. They'd rather not take the money and they'd rather just, undercut Devin Haney and play the game. And then guess what? When you play the game and then when it's your turn for the white man to cash your ass out, or the Sandman to cash your ass out, guess what? Guess what? When the rabbit got the gun at the barrel of the double barrel got shotgun to the back of your head, and it's time for them to blow your fucking brains out, and it's time to make arrangements for your ass. then you want to be a victim. At the end of the day, they some hoe ass niggas for what they did. I could say it was smart business wise, and it was smart business wise for how they moved this. It really was smart business wise, but in general, you know, it's a cold world. Keyshawn has zero plans on fighting Devin Haney. I'm gonna say it again. Keyshawn has zero plans on fighting Devin Haney. They just want to find a loophole to get the belt out of Devin Haney's hand. And guess what? While they doing this loophole, guess what? If Devin Haney hold that belt, guess what? They take money out of Devin Haney's pocket. They taking money out of Devin Haney's pocket from Zuffa. You go to Zuffa, we gonna strip you. You know what I'm saying? You fight Keyshawn, you gonna fight for the cheap. They really want to take the belt from Devin, find a reason to take the belt from Devin, and put the belt on the line for Norman and Keyshawn. If I'm Devin, here, take it. Regardless if I go beat Keyshawn or I give up the belt, I'm gonna get backlash regardless because I'm not signing the top rank. I'm not signing the match my life over the match room. I control my destiny and keep the flexibility to make the best fights possible for boxing, but the fans won't get behind Devin Haney for doing what's best for viewership. You know, it's straight up and down like that. They won't get behind Devin Haney for doing what's best for boxing. They get behind these dudes who duck, who hide. And I will give Jerron Boots in his you know, the more he win and the more high profile fights he in, he has a great opportunity to be the next superstar of the sport of boxing. That's a fact. His exciting style and his ability to take chances shows you that he has confidence. Him and Virgil Ortiz is needed to bring the sport back. Two exciting things. If you ever had to put your money on the Hagler Hearns or Hearns Hagler type of shootout, it's that fight. It's that fight. But let's go.
You're knocking on the door of the pound for pound list. You know, he's looked at as top 5. And would you, how do you, I know you can't give away like a game plan, but you're going to out chess master Shakur Stevenson, do what he does better against him? Or why would you be that?
Because I'm gonna be shot. I own Shakur, I shot. You know what I mean? And that's why they call me Ice Water. I adjust to anybody, and I just feel like I got more to my toolbox. See, y'all feel like we can do the same things, and I agree with that. But I can do more. That's the difference, you know what I mean? And I would show that if we get that fight, you know what I mean?
Would you have to be the fighter that is more aggressive and has more volume in that fight to beat him?
I will be. You know what I mean? I will be. I have the tools to, and like I said, we've been in front of each other. We know what comes. I know what to do. For sure.
How many rounds do you think you guys sparred total over the years? You had to say.
Man, I don't know. It was a lot, but I wasn't like getting ready for no fights when I was sparring them, so I was just in and out. But it was a good work. It was a lot of work.
Okay then. What percentage of the sparring, those rounds, 60%, 50%, 70%, do you feel like you were the better fighter in?
I feel like every time we sparred, I didn't have no problem. Like, not saying every time we sparred, I beat him up. I didn't have no problem. It was a good chess match. But then when it got to the later sparring session, like the last few, that's when the stuff happened. What I said, why I ran him out the gym. He tried to tell all the lies, but then he ended up having to come tell the truth. And that's really what it happened. It wasn't the first session, man. It wasn't the first sparring session. We had already was sparring a few times before then. This was before he left to go to continue his camp in Vegas. So I sparred him that Friday. And I busted ass, and then he called me, and they wanted to spar that Saturday before he flew out. And we sparred again that Saturday. So all that, it was the first sparring session. He capped me.
What happened Saturday? You said it was good work, right?
It was good. Yeah. Like, they had K on FaceTime and everything. Like, they was really trying, and I knew he was going to really come try to be sharp. And it was cool. It was another chess match for the first few rounds, and then I got back to doing what I was doing. I got back to picking him apart and then picking it up on him. So, I mean, I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm willing to prove it in front of the world. And I'm ready.
So you feel you figured him out after those chess match rounds?
For sure. I said, man, I didn't have no problem with him. You know what I mean? And I'm ready to show that in front of the world. He did all that talking.
I beat his man's up, which is the dollar store version of him. I said that, and now I want the real version. Show him.
What have you thought of how it's been playing out, this negotiation in public with Devin Haney and Keyshawn involved in it and everything? What have you made of it, if anything?
I don't know. I really don't even mind nobody else's business. Keyshawn, stop bringing me up, bro. You know, we look out for you. You know what I mean? We had you, we were looking out for you before they took you under your wing, you know what I mean? When they left you stranded, chill, you know what I mean? You're trying to come for us, but I think he a little mad because I said, you know, they offered me him in 2025, and I said I'll fight him. But I ain't saying no to nobody. But, you know, I wish them guys the best, man. Well, Keyshawn and Devin, Shakur, he know what I want to do to him, for sure.
So you heard him. He said that they offered him Keyshawn Davis in 2025, and he just left it at that. And it sounded like he offered him Keyshawn Davis, and Keyshawn turned that fight down in 2025. So Keyshawn and Shakur have been acting that way, and he's absolutely right. Shakur should stand on business and stand on the word of the man that he is, and he won't. He won't stand on that word. He won't stand on that word. He won't stand on that word. Yeah. Sorry, dog. Yeah, he won't stand on that word, man. And you know, it ain't no surprise. These dudes, you know, how many dudes that's probably sparing them and not talking about their experience about how, you know, Shakur and Keyshawn induct them and all that stuff. And Shakur, if you ain't gonna fight Devin, I think a very acceptable fight to cover up for not fighting Devin is to go ahead and fight this brother Shakur Foster, but he won't do it. He won't do it. He won't do it. And then he said that, you know, he doubled down on saying he put hands, foot, and toes on Shakur and sparring. You think Shakur is going to respond to that? Absolutely not. But ain't nobody in the media, or at least Sean Tazell did the interview, ain't nobody gonna hold his feet to the fire, bro. That's the crazy thing about it. Ain't nobody gonna hold his feet to the fire. Ain't nobody gonna hold him to no accountability for what he said and how he acted. Nobody gonna hold him to that. Nobody. Because if they did, he would have got pressured into fighting Devin Haney. And if that couldn't happen, he would have got pressured into fighting Shakur Foster. So where the pressure at? And then the manager, I just showed put the audio of the manager. What did the manager say? He confirmed that, he basically confirmed what I said. Keyshawn ain't trying to fight neither. That's what he confirmed. They trying to take over boxing without fighting. You know, y'all better not have no respect for these dudes, man. Can't keep their word. Turned down Keyshawn, turned down Shot. Shakur turned down Devin. Shakur's really ducked Shot. And you think if Keyshawn just until last year turned down Shot, you think he trying to fight Devin? No. Don't be surprised if they make that fight and they think and Devin take the money and go through with that fight. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if Devin Haney take that fight and Keyshawn and them don't pull out that fight with an injury. Keyshawn don't want to fight Devin Haney. I'm telling y'all what I know, bro. Like, you hear it behind the scenes. He already complaining about the money. You hear what the manager said. The manager wasn't talking about, I got this pit bull right here and we trying to get busy. We trying to make something shake. Either fight us or get a belt. No, he gonna make the best decision for us. I'm telling y'all how they moving. He telling y'all how they moving. He telling exactly how they moving. Yeah, I've talked about how he dug Raimondo Mortella. He said Roy wasn't a super bar, but he had the streets. I remember I had to knock out DVDs at Foot Locker. He did. Keyshawn got that Devin Haney fight before Shakur. Man, he ain't taking that fight, bro. At least I ain't gonna say that he ain't trying to, but he might have to. Sad, because boxing is raw as a philosophical sport, but now it's watered down. Yeah. So, salute the Hans. But with Keyshawn and his team put ain't gonna be no. I don't think Zuffa gonna put no offer. If Zuffa do, they gonna try to finesse. They gonna try to get up out of that. I'm telling you that right now. I heard, from some source directly from Top Rank that that they said Devin Haney is gonna take whatever we offer him. Do you have it? Do you have it? Devin gonna take whatever we all had to offer him. What else is there to talk about? They want to get him to drop what Bob orders belt. And told y'all, if you sign into their fraternity or sign your life over to them, they won't let you be a superstar. They're gonna talk shit. What Crawford say, they all cool with each other. They all cool with each other. They all cool with each other. So it is what it is, man. But that's pretty much all I have, man. Appreciate y'all. Enjoy y'all holiday. Peace.
If I was talking, if your dad was out here talking like I'm talking, I'd tell my son to fuck you up too.